Hi everyone. Seventh graders are going to have a quiz this Thursday, March 26th, 2026. The quiz will be on these two concepts, writing fractions as decimals and adding and subtracting integers. In this video, we are going to talk about how to write fractions as decimals. In other words, we are going to take fractions and change them to decimals. Okay? Um, One of the things that I talked about, whenever you have a fraction and you're trying to change it to a decimal, is we use long division for that. Okay. And specifically, whatever number is on top, we call that the cow person. And this cow person gets to live inside the division house, while the horse does not live in the house, it has to live outside. Okay. Now, you'll need to use long division, as I said, and there is the traditional way that many people learned how to do long division. There's the partial quotients way, and there's some other ways too. But if a student does not have a way to do long division, then they could use something which might be easier for them called grid division. Okay. So this is what I'm going to focus in the video. You do not have to use grid division to change a fraction to a decimal, but this is the only way I'm going to use. But feel free to practice your own way. And if you have your own way, just stick to it. Okay. So the problem that we are going to work on is we're going to take the fraction 2 over 2 over 9, or actually let's just do 1 over 9, and I'm going to change this fraction or write this fraction as a decimal. Okay, so in the end, whatever 1 over 9 is, we're going to write it as a decimal. And as I told you, we are going to use long division for this. Now, when you do grid division, you're going to draw your long division house. Okay, your 1 is your cowboy. So the cowboy, which is our 1, gets to live in the house. For those of you doing grid division, you leave a space here and you write your 1. Okay. And then our horse, which is our 9, gets to live outside the house. Okay. The horse does not get to live in the house. Now, so the next step is how many 9s go into 1? How many 9s can fit into 1? And that is 0. 0 9s can fit into 1. Then you multiply. 9 times 0, 0. Okay? This is the next step is subtraction. 1 minus 0, 1. All right? Now, since we are going for a decimal, we are going to keep going and going until we either see a pattern or until our remainder becomes 0. Okay? So since our remainder is not a 0, it's a 1, we're going to have to keep on going. So to keep on going, we're going to add another column. Okay? Now you see this 1? This 1? Instead of 1 now, we're going to make this a 1.0. Now, fun fact, 1 is the same as 1.0. Okay? So we didn't change the problem. It is still the same problem. Let's keep going in the same way. How many? Oh, sorry, forgot one thing. Our remainder, what we always do with our remainder is we move it to the next column. And then we keep on going. How many 9s go into 10? 1. All right. Then multiply. What is 9 times 1? 9 times 1 is 9. Subtract. 10 minus 9 is 1. Okay? Are we done? No. Because our remainder is still not 0. All right, let's keep going. I'll add another column and I'll add a 0 because 1 is the same thing as 1.00. Okay, we can keep adding zeros all the time because that means because we didn't change the problem when we do that. Okay, now again, take your remainder, move it on here. Let's keep going. How many 9s go into 10? 1 again. 9 times 1 is 9. Subtract. Oh man, my remainder is not 0. I got to keep going. But wait a minute. Do you notice something? It seems like this is going to be a 1 again, just like here. And it seems like no matter what happens, our remainder is always going to be 1 here. Okay? So you could keep going and going and going, and you'll start to notice that something keeps on repeating. Okay? And in fact, these ones keep repeating, and this whole thing here is just going to keep repeating. Okay? So once you notice something's repeating, you can just stop. Now, this decimal needs to go up here. And so your final answer for writing a fraction like 1 over 9 as a decimal is going to be 0.1. We can copy that 1 if we want. And to show that it's repeating, there's 2 ways to show that it's repeating. We could either put these 3 dots to show that the ones go forever and ever and ever. So we're always going to see ones, ones, ones. Or we could say 0.11 and with a repeating bar. That repeating bar tells us that the ones are the ones that are going to keep on repeating. Okay? So this is how you write a fraction as a decimal. And this is a good answer. This is a good answer. Okay? You cannot just write 0.11. That is not accurate. It is more accurate to say that the ones are going on forever and ever. So that's how you write a fraction as a decimal. There'll be a second video coming up for the next part for the quiz. All right, take care. Bye.